Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video, I want to talk about Blizzard's upcoming game, Warcraft Arclight Rumble, and especially how it compares to their current Hearthstone Mercenaries game. So, Warcraft Arclight Rumble is going to be a hero collector game. There's going to be lots of PvE missions, it has a PvE focus, but it also has PvP aspects in it, and I mean, does this sound like a high-level description of Hearthstone Mercenaries or what? It definitely does. But I've been following all the news about Arclight Rumble very closely, and there are lots of interesting things about this, lots of things that probably could have been done with Mercenaries and would have made Mercenaries a better game. It would be a little bit much to say that I'm hyped about Arclight Rumble. I'm maybe a little bit hyped, but also I'm too old to fall for all the advertisements. So it's unlikely to be as good as it sounds, but it might still be pretty good. So what are some of the key things that could have been in Mercenaries and maybe are in Arclight Rumble? First of all, the level of control you have over your hero collection. Now, I've gathered material from various interviews, from the Arclight Rumble Discord, some developer statements from there, and yeah, no loot boxes, gacha or NFTs. Despite being a hero collector, it's been confirmed that Warcraft Arclight Rumble is not a gacha game and will not have loot boxes. Players will be able to purchase any unit they choose, either with their own money or by saving up in-game units. And players will always know exactly what they're buying in our shop. There are no blind boxes, everything is earnable just from playing through the game, you don't have to spend unless you really want to. Alright, some of this sounds really good, like there are some things that Mercenaries also gets done. So like in Mercenaries also, of course, the statement you don't have to buy anything unless you want to does apply to Mercenaries. You can grind everything in Mercenaries. It takes a lot of grinding, but it's possible, so take that statement about Arclight Rumble with a grain of salt. Okay, how much grinding is it exactly if I'm not going to buying stuff? But then the loot box stuff. Yeah, Mercenaries trying to open that legendary card, that sometimes feels just so bad. You open 60 packs, 70 packs trying to find that card and you just can't find it. So no loot boxes, that's a definite plus in my view anyway. But I'm not sure if Mercenaries could have really implemented that, because with Mercenaries of course being tied to the Hearthstone ecosystem, using some of the same aspects as Hearthstone, Hearthstone is loot boxy, card packs are loot boxes, so yeah, there is that. But still very interesting thing about Arclight Rumble. Another sign though that not everything is maybe as sweet as it could be is this Solanesis message. It's important to us that each player has a unique journey. Each of the 3 choices will be from a different family and each leader has their own playstyle, and you can choose the one that speaks to you the most. Both the leaders awarded and the minis presented in the store are unique to each player. So you don't have to go in blind, but you're still not offered a free selection of all the possible tools. You just have to try to buy something. And apparently the store also works so that once you buy something, then it refreshes those and you're given different options. So a bit more like the Discover feature in Hearthstone, I guess. Anyway, some improvements in regard to improving your hero collection compared to what Mercenaries has to offer. It also looks like Arclight Rumble is going to launch with a fairly sizable campaign. The game will primarily focus on single-player PvE with 70 maps at launch, each having a different boss and each of them having a different mechanic that you will have to work around. Not each boss is gonna do the same thing, you have to adapt and experiment with your army. Okay, so that sounds really intriguing. Probably the most fun thing about Mercenaries for me has been figuring out how to beat all the bounty bosses. But there is so much trash. The amount of time you spend on the boss compared to the amount of time you spend on clearing the boss, which will get repetitive, especially when that trash is repeated over 12 different maps, then that is a little bit off maybe in Mercenaries. And that might be better in Arclight Rumble, and also with all of those different maps. And also another thing, this Discord message here. Conquest is a feature unlocked early in your journey that rewards you for defeating campaign missions with new families and strategies. Later missions in the campaign get much more challenging, and finding 5 unique solutions to each puzzle is definitely part of the fun. And that sounds really fun, because that's exactly what I'm looking for in Hearthstone Mercenaries as well. And this is sort of like, in Hearthstone Mercenaries we have a couple of these events, Chishi event, Leroy event, we're going to have an Esot event soon. These events have forced you to do existing bounties in new ways with new sorts of teams. And this sort of feature is kind of inbuilt into the Arclight Rumble. So there's so much more to do in PvE in that game than there is in Mercenaries at the moment. So yeah, that sounds really fun. Also sounds like something... Yes, Mercenaries could have had a lot more content in it. Yes, Mercenaries could have had this sort of conquest stuff inbuilt, instead of getting one event every month, every 2 months. We're just not getting that amount of content that we would need for Mercenaries to shine as a PvE game. Compared to what Arclight Rumble is here promising, but we'll see about fulfilling, of course. And more about that PvE side of Arclight Rumble. Aside from the main PvE mode, you can also do quests, which involve playing old maps to gain XP for specific units. This is by far the best way to gain experience, as at least you can choose which unit will be getting the experience boost. There's also a dungeon mode, which is a 3-map gauntlet with a single army survival mode, if you will. Quite fun and pretty challenging. For every month you get to pick one new relic. You can also earn a resource called Valor, which can be used to upgrade your army through your leader. Okay, so this is already quite a lot more involved PvE than we have in Mercenaries. I mean, in Mercenaries we have tasks. Okay, some of those tasks are puzzles, but for the most part, let's be real. Tasks are kind of boring, grindy, just a ton of work with not that much fun in them. And this quest system, the dungeon mode system, sounds like PvE that's going to be a lot more involved, a lot more interesting. Why can't we have fun things like these in Mercenaries? Also, getting these resources. Unified resource. In Mercenaries we have coins for all the characters separately, and that is really limiting your progress. You have to try to find resources for this mercenary. Oh, I have too many. The excess coins problem. No excess coins problem for Arclight Rumble. Could we have some of these ideas ported back to Mercenaries? I mean, these games are from the same developer. Ooh, I just so wish we would have more stuff like this for Mercenaries. And finally, PvP. Towards comment, let me try to clarify. In PvP, unit levels are normalized. Yep, unit levels are normalized. One of the big problems with Mercenaries is the huge barrier to entry to PvP. You just have to grind so much before you can even go to PvP in any reasonable way. And hey, level normalization for PvP, that sounds so good. However, it does come with a caveat. However, talents and valor upgrades are permitted, which can grant bonus levels to units. Talents and valor upgrades, by the way, are going to be quite expensive, it seems. So, yeah, you can still just get your way through making a better team than the opponent. Okay, so probably it's not going to be perfect. But still, getting some of that normalization, why can't we have something like that in Mercenaries as well? Making PvP more accessible would be so great. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here. There's the lack of loot boxes, getting stuff that you want. There's the unified currency, being able to spend that currency on whichever heroes, whichever units, whichever mercenaries you want. There's the entire variety of the PvE experience, so many more maps, so many more bosses, and in addition to that, even further ways to experience these maps with the conquest mode. Experiencing them with quests, experiencing them through dungeon mode instead of very repetitive tasks. And then the normalization in PvP, more accessibility to PvP. Reading stuff about Warcraft Arclight Rumble, it's like a checklist of stuff that I wish we would also have in Hearthstone Mercenaries. So yeah, I hope they will take a page out of this book in the future development of Mercenaries. Mercenaries is a fun game, it could be better, and Arclight Rumble definitely sounds like a game I'm also going to give a try. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.